Big new offensive line commitment for Notre Dame in the 2026 class. Marcus Freeman has things rolling for the Fighting Irish in this cycle. We're going to talk about this with Tim Hyde. Folks, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to the Blue and Gold YouTube channel for more content. And go to Blue and Gold for much more on this news. And it is a commitment from Gregory Patrick from Portage Northern in Michigan, the nation's number 164 overall player, number 10 interior offensive lineman, 6'4.5", 280 pounds. I feel like that could be outdated too. I'll have to check on that. Nation's number 95 overall player, number 7 interior lineman, according to On3's own rankings. And Tim will pop on his tape in a second. Tell me what you think about him, because I think that, this is Notre Dame's 4th offensive line commitment. We're going to talk about the O-line class in general, but man, it's a really good group for the Fighting Irish now. That's headlined by Nichols and Ben Nichols, Sully Garvin, Gregory Patrick, and Tyler Merrill.
Yes, without it. I mean, it's 4 maulers is what you're getting. You're getting guys who are just going to get after you. You go overall reviewing all 4 of their films again. They're going to get after you. It's a different type of mean athlete at the offensive line, and they just love just the block and just destroy you. And then when you get with Greg Patrick, man, you know what? The first guy that popped in my mind, because people have been asking, is he a guard? Is he a tackle? Both. I think he could play both. He's got the ability, the athleticism to play both. Reminds me a ton of Alex Bars. When Alex came to Notre Dame, Alex started a year at right tackle, and then obviously started, a couple of years at guard. Had that flexibility to play either or, and then goes to the NFL and played multiple positions, center and both guard spots in the NFL. So I see Greg with that type of ability. He's got really, really good body balance. The way he stays square, his feet are always under him. He's not a reacher. He doesn't get overextend himself with his feet, which is really, really nice to watch. Perfect play right there. That's one of the ones I stamped. There's about 3 of them in his highlight film where you see his pass blocking ability, where he's not grabbing or reaching. Balance, elbows in, thumbs up, gets a good punch. There's a handful of them, like I said, on his film that shows his ability to be an offensive tackle if need be. So super, super talented. A few of the things I always look for, when you're watching offensive linemen, is the leverage. Does he get to the play side gap, shoot his hand, strike, elbows in? That's a huge thing with the offensive lineman, and he has it nonstop. His ability to pull is as elite as you could get. So you could see him playing a guard, getting out there on some of the pulls that Notre Dame does, especially when they run their power series. Super, super talented there. So, I mean, Mike, he's a top 100-ish type of football player, just like, Tyler is. Elite athlete at this level. One of those old pot of gold offers. 3 offensive line commits now, pot of gold, which is pretty awesome. So he's a lot of fun to watch. And if this is the close to their class, great. I'm hoping they go get one of those big tackles that they're on. But if they end with these 4, Mike, you're getting 4 blue chip offensive linemen to just keep stockpiling, which they've done the last few years.
Yeah, I think they still would maybe go for a 5th, and
Sure.
there are some. Yeah, it would obviously be a tackle, and
Yes.
Akene Ogboko, Grayson McHugh from Pennsylvania, 2 guys that I would keep an eye on. Tim, you talked about the position versatility. That's where I wanted to go next.
Sure.
I'll throw a comp at you from kind of a different thought process, but along those lines, he's listed again by On3, 6'4.5", 280 pounds. You want to know who's listed at 6'4.5", 275 pounds? Anthony Knapp,
Yeah.
who came in and listed as an elite interior offensive lineman. On3 ranked him as the number 97 overall player and number 5 interior offensive lineman, whereas Patrick is 95 and 7. So it's very close there. So the size is close. Rankings eerily similar, and Knapp we all thought would be an interior guy, and he plays tackle. Sources are telling us that Notre Dame sees Patrick coming in as a tackle and then maybe moving to the inside. So he is definitely someone who can play on anywhere on the interior or anywhere on the offensive line, just like we thought of Knapp. Like I feel like we were talking about Knapp. It's like, man, I would really like him as a center. So Merrill, Nichols, Garvin, all interior players. We knew that Notre Dame would go heavy on the interior because the 2025 class was pretty heavy at tackles with, Augustine, Strebig, Black, and it's very possible that some of these guys move to guard, Tim. But yeah, we knew it'd be an interior heavy class, and I do tend to think that Notre Dame will go for a fifth offensive lineman in that it'll be an offensive tackle.
No, that's a great comp there when you're looking at Knapp, because once again, the same body size, the height. Knapp was what, 225 as a freshman, sophomore, and then 250, 275. And he's going to be about 300 this year at Notre Dame going into sophomore year. So same thing, the position flexibility, you could play multiple spots. Notre Dame's had a lot of those guys who've played tackle, moved inside in the NFL. You think of Eichenberg and obviously, the great Zach Martin, and then obviously Quentin Nelson came in as a 5-star tackle, ended up playing guard. So, a lot of those types of guys. But another thing, a little side thing on the recruiting, start diving into his offers, is I like the fact that you got a couple Joe Moore Award winning coaches, Michigan, and then the O-line coach at Alabama was at Washington when they won the Joe Moore Award a few years ago. And obviously he goes to Alabama, offers him again, which I thought was pretty cool. And then a couple of the coaches, along with Joe Rudolph, when Freeman was looking, for a new O-line coach, when Harry Hiestand left, is Minnesota offensive line coach. They offer him, and Coach Callahan's a hell of a football coach. So I trust his, recruiting. And then the coach at Wisconsin, who was at Vanderbilt, offered him. So just little side nuggets of guys that are offering, see his potential, same type of caliber that Coach Rudolph sees in him as well. But he's talented. There's a couple clips out there. Go watch. There's one screenplay, I think it's at the 50-second mark, if I remember right around that minute, where you just see his ability to get out in space. And it is not easy when you're 6'5", 280-ish to run out there and go hunt down little tiny guys and go block them. And that's just a play that really highlighted his athleticism, going back to his ability to play tackle. So wherever he's at, he's got the skill set. He's got the coaching. Does an amazing inside gallop step where he's combo blocking. You see him to the linebacker. So a lot of positives with Greg Patrick, and man, it's a hell of a four-man haul right now. So kudos to the Irish.
So Patrick's father, Joseph, was a Michigan State player and is now the Portage Northern offensive line coach, coaching up his sons. So definitely notable there. And Michigan State, Notre Dame, and Penn State. Love that top four, by the way. It's perfect for an offensive lineman from the Midwest. He was going to take official visits to those four schools, but Patrick visited Notre Dame in early April, and that put the Irish over the top of his recruitment, and he went ahead and announced that pledge today. So I thought for the longest time it would be a Michigan or Notre Dame. Some days I would have told you Michigan, others I would have told you Notre Dame. But yeah, after that visit, really started to trend towards Notre Dame from what I was being told behind the scenes. So big pickup for Notre Dame, Tim.
And if I, just a quick 30 seconds on that real quick, is great point on that about the culture, right? How he's been visiting, meeting with these other offensive linemen. That goes to what Rudolph, obviously Coach Freeman, what he's selling, the culture, the offensive line room has been strong as could be for so long. Greg Patrick being around those other commits. It's an awesome recruitment of what that offensive line room is at Notre Dame. So kudos to all those guys managing that there at Notre Dame.
I know you guys like what you heard in this video, so please hit the thumbs up on it and head over to blueandgold.com for much more coverage of this news. Gregory Patrick committing to Notre Dame. Hit the thumbs up, and as always, folks, we will catch you next time.